The reason you can't do this, and I feel like a lot of videos don't explain this part, but the reason you can't do this is because at the end of the day, this React component here is just a JavaScript function. And this JSX, it gets rendered down into JavaScript objects. And what we're basically trying to do here is return two separate JavaScript objects from a function, which wouldn't make sense. Like if we just had function, sum, function, and this is just a JavaScript function, and I tried to return two separate objects next to each other. So if I tried to return curly braces, and I'll just say sum property is equal to 2, well, that works because I'm returning one object. What if I try to return a second object? Another property is 4. Well, I'm going to get an error here too, because here it's like I expected a comma, not another object. So in JavaScript, and I realize I spelled return wrong, let me return that. But here you're going to see I still get the same thing. I get unreachable code detected, which is an error that actually makes sense more. But I'm trying to return two objects from this JavaScript function, which it just doesn't work. And that's the same thing I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to return this JSX, which gets converted into a JavaScript object. And then I'm trying to return this JSX, which gets returned as a JavaScript object. And that's the same thing as like trying to do this, which doesn't make any sense. It also doesn't work. So the way to fix this would be the same way that we would fix this JavaScript function. Instead of returning two objects, well, we could return like an array that has these objects within the array, and I'll separate these by commas, and now this function will work just fine. It would return an array of two objects. So it's still returning one thing. And very similarly, in our React component, instead of returning two sibling elements here, we could just put one of the sibling elements within the other. So this will now work because the p tag is now a child of the main tag. So this main element here is wrapping around this h2 and this p tag, making